Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. My name is Valerie, and I am the owner of Lavail & Co. I wanted to come back. It was brought to my attention in my previous videos when I talked about starting a boutique and the steps that I took to get started, that I was really, I gave a high overview. I did not go into any details about my process. And that is the point of these videos, is for me to share my experience with being a boutique owner. As I had stated in my previous video, I got started in March of 2020 at the very height of the pandemic. So when I got started, I didn't have a boutique bestie. I didn't know anybody doing what I was attempting to do. And the reason that I did get started was because I was not able to find what I was looking for in department stores or big box stores. So I'm just going to backtrack just a little bit so that I can discuss in more detail what I did to get started. I actually lived in Dallas for about 11 years, and I started a business in Dallas and formed my LLC there. When I moved back to Florida, I did transfer that LLC back to the state of Florida. So I already had that in place. So I did know a little about business, but wanted to kind of switch gears with what I was doing. I do not, as much as I would like to say that I have a experience in fashion, I do not. I've just always had an interest and loved fashion. Started out trying to pursue fashion, just never was disciplined enough to complete that degree. But here we find ourselves in the same place. So I did get my LLC back in Dallas and of course transfer that back to the state of Florida. So here we are starting the boutique business in 2020. I had to create a name for the business, which technically I already had. I was selling jewelry on Facebook and kind of paused that for a moment. So what I ended up doing was taking that business name and rolling it over to my boutique. And so I got that in place. I got my sales tax with the Florida Department of Revenue. And then I began to procure or try to procure clothing. But during that time, it was a little bit difficult for me because the world was shut down. So here's what I did. I started looking at YouTube videos and just taking advice from some of those people that were giving advice online. But one thing I did do was I found a group of boutique owners, and I think there's about, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to say 30,000-ish boutique owners in this particular group that I found on Facebook, and it's called the Boutique Hub. And I joined that group. From that group is when I learned about a wholesale platform called Fashion Go. FashionGo.net houses thousands of wholesalers, and you must have a license in order to access that website. At the time, I did not. Some of them require that you have invoices from previous purchases that you have made in order to allow you to access their platform, along with your resale ID. I didn't have that. Another one was LA Showroom. It is another platform. And then there's another platform called Orange Shine. So for me, the first thing that I did was purchase from the first one that will allow me to purchase, and that was Orange Shine. Just like it's spelled, just like the fruit, just like the color, Orange Shine. It is also a wholesale platform that requires you to have a resale ID. So they did allow me to purchase without having the actual invoices. What I did was I took those invoices that I got from Orange Shine, my purchases on Orange Shine, and then I uploaded those into, I believe it was LA Showroom, to be able to purchase from them. And then once they accepted those receipts, then I was able to purchase through LA Showroom, and I'm also able to purchase through fashiongo.net. One thing that you must know though with purchasing from any wholesale platform online is you need to be very careful about how you purchase. I will tell you that you would want to look at the reviews. It is extremely, extremely, extremely important that you look at the reviews. I have made it my habit that if a vendor has 3.5 stars to not purchase. So anything 3.5 and under, I do not purchase because it's going to be hit or miss. I'm just going to be quite frank. It's going to be hit or miss. You could get something that's very nice, and then the next time you order, you could get something that's trash. And when I say trash, something that may have like strings that have not been cut from the garments. Some of them may have holes in them. Some of them may be sewn improperly. Some of them may not be cut the right size. So what you're thinking could be a 2X really is a medium or a small. So be very, very careful of that. You want to make sure that those reviews, because boutique owners will tell you exactly what they're getting from those particular vendors. So make sure that you are reading the reviews. What I did was there's also another one, and it's called Fair, FAIRE.com. And I purchased a jacket from them. I did. I purchased a jacket from them. And what they called a large is technically a small. So then I ended up with jackets that they are adult in appearance, but basically you might as well give them to a tween or something like that. And so that was when I learned that reading the reviews were very important, because they give you a time frame in order to try to return. In most cases, they are going to require that you contact them, and then they will give you a confirmation to return them. They'll give you a number that you write down, include in your packaging when you send it back, stating that you have been approved to return whatever the purchase is. What I've read, I've not had this experience, what I've read is that if you have not returned your items, or if you have not contacted them within that 7-day window, some of them give you 14 days, but for the most part, it's 7. They give you that 7-day window in order to contact them to be able to return. And if you haven't done that, then basically you're just out of luck. There have been cases that I've read, because I read reviews, where the boutique owner has tried to reach out to the vendor to return something, and that vendor does not respond, or that vendor completely blocks them. So that's something that you want to pay attention to as well. It is extremely imperative that you build relationship with the vendor that you are going to be dealing with. When you're doing business online only, and you've never actually gone to market or gone to an apparel show in either Atlanta, New York, LA, any of those places, and there's some all over the country, but I name those because those are the ones that most people know about. But if you've not visited them, most likely what you're going to encounter is that you're going to be offering clothes that a lot of other boutiques are offering as well. But if you want to set yourself apart, you will want to actually go in person to a market or to a apparel warehouse. I call it a warehouse, but it's like the Atlanta Mart is what it's called in Atlanta. In New York City, you would go to the clothing district. And so you'll want to visit some of those places. At the moment, I have actually gone to Magic Orlando when they came. I believe it was in 2021, I believe it was. And so I did actually get to go to Magic at that particular time. I was actually scheduled to go this February. However, I backed out because the Super Bowl is happening at the same time, and I just didn't want to get caught up in all of that. However, I will be going to Magic in August, so I'm really excited and looking forward to that. And I may actually drive up to Atlanta and visit the Atlanta Mart because I am ready to differentiate myself from a lot of the other online boutiques. So that's something that I am preparing to do. And so that is just some of what I did to get started. I will be going on into a little bit more detail with some of the other things. But tonight we're just talking about procuring your clothes. And so online you can get, that is fashiongo.net, LA showroom. Then there is Orange Shine and Fair. There are multiple others. Those are the ones that I mainly use. And here's one other little tip. When you are buying from those platforms, there is a slight markup because you are actually on a platform. If you find a vendor that you particularly like, it is a good idea to sign up directly with that vendor so that you can save yourself a little money. And then that way it'll increase your margin just a tad because you are paying just a small markup when you are buying from any of the wholesale platforms. So I hope this information was helpful, and I look forward to giving you some more information soon.